Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something really interesting, a powerful way for foreign companies to build a team in Turkey. It's low risk, it's not for making sales, and, well, it comes with some pretty surprising perks.
So let's set the scene. You found some amazing remote talent over in Turkey. You're happy, they're doing great work, and now you're thinking, hey, let's hire more. But you've kind of hit a wall, right? The simple contractor model just isn't cutting it anymore if you want to build real loyalty and a proper team structure. So what do you do?
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll kick things off with that core problem. Then we'll introduce the solution. After that, we'll get into the really good stuff, the tax advantages. Then we'll walk you through how to get your permit, and finally, we'll cover the really important rules you have to follow to make it all work.
All right, first up, let's really frame the problem that this whole thing solves.
It's a great problem to have, right? Your company's killing it with its Turkish remote team, and you see all this potential to expand. You want to offer them something more solid than a freelance contract, something that makes them feel like they're truly part of the global company. Well, here is the elegant solution. It's a structure known in Turkey as an itabat ofisi, or, as we'll call it, a liaison office. You should think of it as this brilliant way to get your foot in the door without all the complexity and headaches of launching a full-blown Turkish company. So, what is this thing exactly? Think of it as your company's official representative on the ground. But, and this is the absolute key distinction, it is forbidden from any commercial activity. That means zero sales, no generating revenue, and no sending out invoices in Turkey. Its entire purpose is just support and representation. That's it. So if it can't make money, what can it do? Well, its activities fall into four main buckets. It can handle representation, like managing a visit for a trade fair. It can oversee your local suppliers, which is a model Inditex supposedly used. It can offer technical support to your local distributors, or it can just do communication and information gathering, like market research to see if a bigger move into Turkey makes sense for you later on. Okay, now we're getting to the good part. This is where the whole liaison office model gets really compelling. The financial benefits, well, they're huge, both for the company and for the people who work there. For employees, this is just a fantastic deal. Because the office is non-commercial and funded entirely from outside Turkey, their salaries are exempt from Turkish income tax. Yeah, you heard that right. And that usually means higher take-home pay, which, as you can imagine, makes these jobs incredibly appealing.
Let's just put this side by side to see how big a deal it is. A regular Turkish company, it's doing business, so it pays corporate tax, it pays VAT, and it pays employee income tax. The liaison office pays none of those. The only major thing you're on the hook for is Social Security payments. That makes this a remarkably tax-efficient setup.
All right, so the benefits are pretty clear. You're probably thinking, sign me up. But how do you actually set one of these up? Let's walk through the practical steps.
First things first, let's talk cost. You should probably budget for a one-time setup expense. Getting all those parent company documents translated into Turkish and officially notarized, that's probably going to set you back somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000.
The process is pretty straightforward, but it is heavy on the paperwork. First, you gather your parent company's financial records. Next, those documents have to be apostilled. That's an official certification that makes them valid internationally. Then you get them translated in Turkey. The whole package goes to the ministry in Ankara, and once they give you the green light, you just have to do the final registration with the local tax and Social Security offices. Now pay attention, because here's some advice that could save you a major headache. For one, it's considered safer to actually hand-deliver your application to the office in Ankara. Also, be strategic. If you apply for market research, your permit will probably be limited to 3 years. And here's a big one. You can't open a liaison office if your parent company already runs a separate Turkish corporation. And if you're applying to be a regional management center, you have to prove you have operations in multiple countries. Okay, so getting the permit is a huge step, but it's just the start. To keep your special status, and most importantly, to keep all those tax benefits, you have to play by a very specific set of rules. So here are the operational must-knows. All your funding has to be wired from the parent company abroad directly into a dedicated foreign currency bank account for the office. The good news is there's no minimum capital you need to start. You do have to send a simple activity report to the ministry every year, and yep, you can hire interns. One small thing to remember: any VAT you pay on local purchases like office supplies isn't refundable.
Now, I need you to lean in for this one, because this is the single most important rule of all. If you get this wrong, the whole thing falls apart. To maintain that employee income tax exemption, salaries must be paid in foreign currency directly from that foreign-funded account. Seriously, get this wrong and you lose the biggest benefit of having the liaison office in the first place.
So, there you have it, the Turkish Liaison Office. It's a powerful, low-overhead way to engage with top-tier local talent and really explore the market without a massive commitment. Which brings us to our final question. Could this be the perfect strategic first move for your company's journey into Turkey?